Hi everyone, I'm back today with another Valentine's Day card. I'm using a different card base than I normally use. This card base was cut from the A Child's Year cartridge, and it has sort of this scallop border on it, and then it also has a heart-shaped overlay. But what I don't like about this card is that when you open it on the inside, it's going to have a cutout. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a more standard card base, and this is cut at 10 inches by 6.5 inches and scored in the middle at 5. I'm going to take this as my card base, and then I'm going to trim this right down the score lines to create a layer for this card. And then I'm going to do the same with my heart. And this works out well because it'll actually make it to where I can make 2 cards with the one cutout. So I'm going to take my trimmer and line this right up on the score lines. And trim it down. Then I'm going to do the same with the heart overlay. And they've also cut the same heart overlay, but in a slightly smaller size, so that I can have a layer on the heart. It'll give me like a nice shadow effect. So I'm going to have the base of my card, the layer, and this was cut at 6.5 inches. I have a layer that I cut to go right here. I'm going to have the heart shadow and then the heart overlay. And I'm just going to take some brown ink and ink all of my edges. Okay, now that my layers are all inked up, I'm just going to adhere them to the base of my card. And I'm going to adhere this right up to the top edge of my card. Now I'm going to take a white gel pen and I'm just going to go around the edges of the craft cardstock and give it just a small doodle stitch. So I've cut both the image and the shadow, and they're cut at 3.5 inches. I'm going to use my Zig two-way pen for the smaller areas. And now I'm going to put this on some foam. Now for my sentiment, I have the tag feature that I cut out from the A Child's Life cartridge, and all of these cuts are actually from the same page. This is the tag and then the shadow for it. And the sentiment I'm using comes from the K. Andrews. It's her new stamp set. It's called It's Valentine's Day. And I'm just going to use the classic Happy Valentine's sentiment. And I'm going to stamp it a little bit more on the edge, a little bit asymmetrical on my tag. I'm going to adhere this to the shadow. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white stitching around this as well. Sometimes when you have a lot of colors going on a project or a lot of prints, it's nice to have sort of a unifying element like the stitching. Kind of brings everything together and helps it to coordinate a little bit better. And I'm going to pop this one up on foam as well. And I'm going to adhere both of these with some liquid glue. And then I also have a few flowers here. These are from Recollections. just regular light pink flowers. And I'm going to glue them kind of right on the edge of the tag. And then I have a small green button, and I've threaded some of the Twinery's maraschino twine through it and tied a little bow. And I'm going to adhere that right in the center of the flower. Just like that. For the inside of my card, I just have some basic white cardstock that I'm going to adhere to craft cardstock. And these are just cut down by a 1/4 of an inch on each side. Going to adhere that inside. Now my flower has fallen off because I didn't give it long enough to dry, so I'm just going to add a little more glue. And finally, I'm going to add a little crystal flourish on the edge of my heart and some little pink rosettes that I have. And this crystal flourish is from Recollections. And the flowers they're from Michael's, but I don't remember what brand they are. And there we go. There's our little Valentine's Day card.